Okay, so we're going to start with a magic circle, and we are going to put in 6 single crochets into our magic circle and then tighten it up. So we're going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5. It's kind of a little hard unless you make your circle a little bit smaller. It's hard to hold control. Okay, so that is, let's count them. Okay, so I've got my first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so when I get my 6th one, I can tighten up my magic circle by pulling on that extra string, and then flip it around to where I can see that first V-shape stitch. You see that first V-shape there for our first stitch? And then we're going to put underneath that V-shape, we're going to put our hook, yarn over and pull it through. And we're going to pull it through again because that was just to connect the last stitch, stitch number 6, with stitch number 1 that we started with. So once we do that, now you've got a little circle. This is your first inner circle. So now we're going to do two chain stitches, 1, 2, and always try to keep holding that first inner circle. Hold it still, and let this hand, your right hand, do most of the work. Here you're just going to hold everything stable so you can see where your next stitch is. So here's our first stitch where we connected it. So to start making this bigger and lay flat, we're going to put 2 stitches in each of our chain stitches. So on this row, the second row, we will have a total of 12 stitches because we have 6 stitches to begin with, and then we're going to put 2 under every one of these V shapes that we see, and that'll equal 12 stitches. So let's start here. 1, there, so there's that first stitch, and then I'm going to go back in the same hole and do my second stitch where I go into that hole, pull my yarn through, and so I've done 2 single stitches. Now I'm going to the next V, and I'm going to put my crochet hook in, pull it through, and now do my double crochet here, and then another one in the same hole here. Okay, so now you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches and 2 in each hole. So now we go to the next V shape, put our crochet hook underneath it. That's the top of that chain, that stitch on the first row. So now we've done 1, and we go back to the same hole, and we do another one, and we're just doing our double crochet our double crochet with our hook. So we put 2 in there. Now we're going to go into the next one underneath the V for the next one, and pull our yarn through and do a double crochet, and then another double crochet. So now we've got 2 stitches in each of those so far. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 8. Now I'm going to move this little string out of the way. That's part of the magic circle we started with. See if I can blow it up a little bit. So here's the top of our stitch on that first row. So we're going to put our crochet hook under both of those, and there we've made a, whoopsie, I hate when that happens, a double crochet. So that's 1 double crochet in that hole. We're going to do another one. There we go. So now we have 2 in there as well. So now we're going to the next one, and this is our last one. So we'll put it on, see the top of that stitch, we're going to do this. So 1, so there's our first double crochet in that one, and then our next double crochet in there. So now we're finished, and now we have a total of 12 stitches going around, and now we just go back to that first stitch that we created, which I'm trying to see here exactly where I can show you the, the V. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a V there, and you put it through there, and then yarn over and pull it through. That first stitch sometimes can be tricky. So once you do that, you just go ahead and, since you're connecting the 12th stitch with the first stitch, after you put your crochet hook through that first stitch, you're just going to grab the yarn and pull it through so it connects them. So now you've got 6 stitches on the inside, 12 stitches on the outside, and now, just like we did the first time, to start our next row, we're going to do 2 chain stitches. And now at this point, all we got to do is just start that pattern over. So here is our first stitch. There's the top of that stitch. It's like a V shape. You're going to put your crochet hook through both, and you're going to bring it under and complete that double crochet. Go into the same hole and do the same thing. So now you've got 2 in there. Now you go into the next one and you'll put 2 in that one. You'll go underneath and you will do 2 double crochets in the same hole. And then you can see where it's starting to make a round disc for us. So then you're going to go to this one and you're going to go in there and do 2 double crochets. And then once you finish that, then you go to your next one, the next stitch, which is those 2 strings there, the top of the next stitch, and you can go through there, and you can continue just 2 in each of these, the top of each stitch from the row right below it. So you've got those 2, and you're going to put 2 in there. So that's how that is. And then, so there's that one. So now we're going to this one. We're going to go in and do a double crochet and a double crochet. And the whole time, see how I kind of let that get loose? That's because my tension wasn't tight enough. So if I see a bigger hole, I just pull the tension. I'm keeping tension in between these 2 fingers. These 2 fingers are kind of tight. So you want to hold that tension so that you can control how big these loops are when you go to put in those stitches. So that was my first stitch in this hole, and then my second double crochet in this one. Whoops, hate when I do that. Okay, and then the next one is going to be my next hole. I'm going underneath the top of that stitch, and I'm going to do that twice. And then the top of the next stitch is right there. I'm just going to put my crochet hook under it like that and pull it through, and then do my 2 double crochets. And then I'll just go back through to the next stitch, and there you can see I went through the top of that stitch. So you're just going around in a circle, and here we go. There's another, and those are my 2 stitches in that one. Now I'm going to start the next set, the next stitch. Oops, lost control of my yarn there. Okay, so there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and then the top of my next stitch. So there's my first double crochet in that one, and my next double crochet in that one. And then I'm ready for my last stitch. This is the last one before I'm ready to get back to the top of this 3rd row. So now I'm going to have 24 stitches in here because I've got 6, 12, 24, because I'm putting 2 in each stitch on the previous row or circle, however you want to say it. So now that I've gotten my 24 stitches in, because I've been putting 2 in each one, now I'm going to go back to that first stitch right there. Right there, that's the top of my first stitch, that V right there. I just pull it in and then pull it under, and all I did was connect my 24th and my first stitch. So you can see how that's going to allow you to increase as you go around in a circle. If you wanted to start decreasing, because maybe you want to make a hat, so let's say you've got it to be about this big and now you want to start decreasing, when you go around, you'll just skip a stitch. Like you'll skip every other stitch or maybe every third stitch. It just depends on how gradual you want that curve to be as it starts curving back down to where you can wear it as a hat. But for now, that's what we have for a round circle and how to increase when you start with your magic circle with 6 stitches. Then your next one you have 12 because you're going into the top of each stitch with 2 double crochets, and then you repeat the same pattern but you're increasing by 24. You're increasing it to 24 from 12 to 24. Now the next one, if I did the same thing, I would have 48 stitches around. I don't really have to count them as long as I know that at the top of each stitch, each of these V-shaped stitches that you see, whenever I go underneath those, as long as I put 2 in that hole right there, then I don't even have to count because I'm going to know I'm putting 2 in each one. So that's it for now. I hope this helps.